Hello everyone again, and welcome to yet another installation of our Clueless Girl Gaming on Linux series. And today we will be talking all about Ubuntu and how I like it, how it's looking, whether it makes sense, where things are positioned, where things are not positioned, what kind of pre-installed software do we have, just in case you guys are actually considering installing Ubuntu and you want to recommend this video to somebody who actually has no idea about Linux and about other distros and just want to try things out for the very first time. As you may or may not have seen from a previous video, I think it was pretty much clear that I was biased towards Ubuntu because Arch Linux's installation was a nightmare and a half, you guys. I am still dreaming about it. Yes, I still cannot wake up like a normal person. It has to be sweaty, it has to be in the middle of the night, and it has to be with some sort of like shadow towards the wall of the Arch Linux logo. This is how I feel. Needless to say, that was my experience, and my experience only with the Arch Linux installation. So if you guys want to try it out, go ahead and try it out. Do it for yourself. Let me know how it went. However, since this channel is all about delivering the correct news to you and the unbiased standpoint of absolutely everything, we're going to be talking about Ubuntu and how I actually like it. And you're gonna be getting Ubuntu from a Clueless Girl perspective, just to see how somebody who has actually only had previous experience of trying Arch Linux. By the way, if you haven't seen that video, go ahead, see it now, because I will chase you in your dreams together with the distro that you hate the most of all Linux distros, and they will never forgive you if you don't watch this video. And then come back and see the rest of this one. I'm going to be delivering to you my first ever impression of Ubuntu. The only thing I have done so far is literally just install OBS so it can stream everything to you guys, so you can get things in good quality, and it's not that bad looking as it is current. I have no resolution in regards to Arch Linux and the Ubuntu situation, so let me just go ahead and try Ubuntu out and actually see how I like it. So without further ado, let's just dive into the system, dive into Ubuntu, and hopefully clear out some of the nightmares that I've had with Arch Linux. Here we are, you guys. By the way, you can probably see that it's completely new setup. There is a big pillow that is right behind me. It's taking more space than me on this freaking chair, but... And Mr. Owl is here. He says hello. He's a little rusty, don't mind. Anyway, it's a new setup. I hope you guys never mind it and you still get the same enjoyment of the videos. Regardless, let's just hop right into our Ubuntu. By the way, I'm not jesting at everyone. I just love copying accents. I studied and got my bachelor's in linguistics and pragmatics. I like making fun of things that I know what they're about, if that makes sense. Don't judge me. I'm not making fun of anyone in particular. I just want you to laugh with me rather than against me. Anyway, Ubuntu. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. What I'm seeing right now is a nice looking puma. Or there was a special name for that animal, right? Wasn't there? I do remember I read about that while I was writing. I know some things about Ubuntu.
I'm writing articles every day for Mano and for us for the tech blog.
And so I've written some articles about Ubuntu, and I did an article about this specific animal and what it was about. Right, it's a jackalope. Alright. I see. Okay, that makes sense. So this is the beauty right here. I like it. It's minimalistic. It's interesting. It's new. I like the whole feel of it. It's really odd looking, I have to say, with the taskbar on the top. I'm used to the taskbar being here, but I'm assuming that you can switch that really easily. From the very first get-go, I can see my folder with all of my things, and I suppose I have pictures and I have music and desktop downloads, blah 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 blah, which is great. The only thing I'm sad about not seeing is basically all of my saved documents and things from my Arch Linux installation, but as you probably may have already understood, seen or heard, I didn't partition the disk, so Ubuntu ended up just installing itself on top of Arch Linux, and I don't have a dual boot system. I basically only have Ubuntu right now, but I'm not mad. It's fine. Otherwise, here we would have a bunch of other stuff. I have to say the layout is quite cool because it makes sense that when you open your home folder with all of your files, you want to see the most recent ones. That's typically how I personally work, and I find that this is really cool. Just the way that it looks is kind of quite. It looks quite responsive. It looks kind of quite easy to get used to. I really don't mind it. It reminds me a bit of Windows, but this whole thing with the taskbar being on the top, that might be a little bit weird for new users. Do bear in mind, I installed it yesterday. I have not worked with Ubuntu so far, so that's literally my first ever experiences. What I'm seeing here is just microphone, headphones, okay. What's connected, loving this tab because it's fairly easy to just check. This one is just directly, what's connected. I see a register headphones and a register microphone, so you can just straight up go ahead and, just control them from here, which is awesome. And yeah, here it's just what's going on here. Literally, I just realized that you can't click on these separately, which kind of makes all of these icons a little useless, but I mean, I'm not gonna hate. Anyway, you can get into settings, you can get connected to Wi-Fi or cable depending on what you're connected to, power off or log out. Let me see, settings. We have all of our settings here, which I'm liking quite a bit, as you know. Yonsai got no things like Bluetooth, you guys, come on. Don't hate on me, she too old for that. I know, I saw some of your guys' comments. You guys were trashing me for not actually getting a fairly new case. I would rather spend not just 60 euros, but a little more than 60 euros on a case that looks really good and fits together with her, rather than spend just 60 euros for another case such as the Cool Master and just have to go through the same kind of embarrassing thing of having to wire everything together and make sure that the GPU fits and so on and so forth. So I would prefer to just have some money saved for a really good looking case and then showcase that as Beyonce the third, because then she's updated. The first Beyonce will forever stay in my heart. She is my babe. I listen to her music every day. I swear, she is amazing. Beyonce second is the one that is working and showing all these beautiful things, including the Tomb Raider series that, if you haven't seen, was the glitchiest series I've ever experienced in my life. Regardless, I digress. Let's just take a look at, we have different backgrounds, I see. Ooh, so I just click and it changes the background. That's so cool, you guys. Just like Windows, you have a couple of different backgrounds, I suppose. Nothing too glorious. I like them. I like this one a lot, actually. You have also different appearances. I remember we were talking about the light appearance on Ubuntu. That was a new feature. Honestly, for this specific I actually like the dark one better. I do like the dark one, and the icon size we can change too. I prefer having more availability for my icons here. I like that it's so customizable because it does feel like, for Windows it's a little more hidden away, and it feels like no matter how much you customize Windows, you will never be able to customize it to the point where you're comfortable with it, if that makes sense. So I quite like that with Ubuntu. Arch didn't have different modes as far as I remember. By the way, don't judge me on that if it's not true, because I didn't really go ahead into customizing Arch that much. Maybe I should go back. If you guys want me to do a dual boot installation and basically just install Arch Linux additionally to Ubuntu and hopefully not fail this time, you can just let me know. Anyway, notifications, do not disturb, lock screen notifications, the usuals, and we can, I suppose, just get rid of those as we wish. Search results, okay, applications. These are the next things we're gonna look at. Anyway, let's just rush through these because there's so many tabs. Privacy, connectivity, checking, Thunderbolt, cool. File history and trash. We can throw away the file history. That's cool. Temporary files, diagnostics. That's really cool. That's pretty cool. I like that. It feels so free, you guys. It just feels like there's nothing that you can't change in Ubuntu. I like that a lot, actually. So basically, what I'm getting from all of the menus is the fact that you don't have to go into the submenus of the submenus of the submenus of Windows to change to make any change in the settings of the system. You can just go and do that from literally the top tab right here in settings, which is quite neat because everything in Windows is so kind of like hidden away, and I'm not sure I quite like that. So yeah, I'm not loving it. Anyway, here we have the menu. It looks like a little bit of a gaming pad menu, which I like. You can see the frequent ones that I have currently open right now, and you can see all of the rest of them. Cheese? It's called cheese. I mean, I'm not gonna judge, but why the hell would you call an application for your camera cheese? Your actual little, not even logo. What is it called? Come on, it's not Flavicoin. Your actual application logo. Your application logo. Is not even a cheese. I mean, come on, Ubuntu. I expected more from you. Firefox comes pre-installed if you do select this version. Yet again, I want to remind you that I did prompt Ubuntu to install whatever third-party programs I want to install, just so I can check out what it actually has. Input method, additional drive, software and updates. It already did prompt me into installing some of the updates, which is great for the system. I'm really happy for that because the other difference of Arch Linux, there's no way for you to install updates from the terminal. Or rather, there is a pop-up, but the easiest way is to rather do it via the terminal, while for Ubuntu it seems like the easiest way is just to click OK on the prompt to install. That's at least my opinion. Mine's not junk. We have as well Rhythm Box. What is that? Music. Adding music. Play cue music. Alright, cool. So basically there's nothing crazy about the pre-installed programs. Disk usage. Oh, that's so cool. Separate little showing of what is using the disk and how. That's so great. I mean, I really don't mind it. Mail, Sudoku. Here we have Steam, which is going to be our next video. We are going to start updating Steam right now because, as I said, you guys, the first thing that I installed is OBS and all of its dependencies, and then I just installed Steam. If you're looking into Ubuntu or any kind of Linux distro for the first time, please do bear in mind that you don't only have to install the program, you also have to install its dependencies, which are a lot of different separate mini programs that help this main program run. And so you need to have these installed in order for the program not to crash. Next up, what I actually have planned is speaking about Lutris and installing Lutris, because I didn't really show that last time I installed Arch Linux. Just seeing how I like Lutris and how I like downloading games, testing it with a couple of games. We'll do the same for Steam. Steam is quite easy to install. How I installed everything was I literally just went ahead and opened up the terminal by just typing in terminal for anyone who is not aware. Since Ubuntu did the installation on its own, what I literally did was I followed one article here. You can see it's by linuxhint.com, installing OBS on Ubuntu. If you're interested on doing that, everything was quite clear from the very start, and they're giving you the basically everything that you need, all kinds of codes, and also giving you a list of how everything should look like after it's installed. So in case you don't have that much experience with the terminal, then you can pretty much see how it's supposed to look like from here. And if you have an error code, then you can just type it in, just like I did here, which I did have an issue with dpkg. I don't even know what the problem was, but that can only go to testify that you don't need to know everything about Linux and Ubuntu in order for you to fix the problem. Ubuntu itself, the console itself, or I should say the terminal, told me what to type in to make sure that it was cleared. I had to reconfigure something, so it did do so on its own. I did not have to do anything else. So yes, this is the command. Actually, it's right here on the top: sudo dpkg --configure-a. This helped me basically just clear everything out, and it didn't have any problems ever since. So I literally just followed this tutorial, and I just typed in sudo apt install and then Steam if I didn't have Steam, or OBS if I didn't have OBS. And like I said, I just followed this tutorial on here for installing all of the dependencies and all of the codes and all the additional stuff that OBS needed to run. And for Steam, I literally just installed Steam. As you saw, I just booted Steam as well for a millisecond right here, and I can straight away log into my account and start playing and downloading games. So far, closing thoughts on Ubuntu. It's really easy to kind of get used to. Honestly, it's like a weird mixture between, from my experience, a Mac OS and Windows. This kind of sidebar thing reminds me of Mac, and this kind of thing reminds me of Windows, but it's just like combined together. I'm sure that you can customize the bars as well, just so you can drag this one over to the bottom. But I personally like experiencing things like that. If there's something new that I install and that I want to experience fully, I would probably go ahead and keep it as is, and I wouldn't try to readjust it so it looks a little bit like Windows or a little bit like Mac, the Mac OSs or anything like that. If you're doing an installation or looking to show this video to somebody who's never used Ubuntu before or Linux before, then you can most certainly customize everything. I'm talking everything, so that you can make it look closer to the desktop environment of what you actually used to use. Menus and taskbars, perfect. You can change it. You can again modify them as you want to. There is no off limits with Ubuntu seemingly. Thirdly, it runs smoothly from what I've seen so far. It's not like I have that many things installed on it, but still it's more than just a clean installation with no additional programs. Everything that I have had open so far, including the fact that I'm currently filming with OBS, I have not had any difficulties with the performance just yet, which maybe a distro might have difficulty with the performance starting it and running it from the start. I have no idea. So far I don't really have anything that bugs me rather than just this taskbar with the 4 icons, that it actually doesn't really matter where you click, they're gonna still show the same bar and the same options. That's literally the only problem I have with the way it looks so far. And so basically this was my first look into Ubuntu. First impressions, really clean, really minimalistic, really customizable, user-friendly. Me as a Windows user, Windows? It's a Windows. It's Windows time. Anyway, as a lifelong Windows user with a few exclusions in terms of a Mac OS, I have basically barely had any touchy feely with Linux distros. And for me, Ubuntu felt really easy to use. It had good looking backgrounds. You didn't really have to download any additional backgrounds, which is a problem with girl because she kind of likes to have variety and she kind of likes to have a lot of pictures for background usage. Do keep in mind that that is the easiest distro to install. Likely the most fitting distro for people that have never used Linux before. I still feel like it is quite easy. Also, the installation process itself, people can do this on their own. They don't really need to be experienced. Maybe they'll feel a little lost as to installing programs. I just feel like it's really close to Windows. It almost doesn't even feel like it's a different operating system, and it's looking mighty fine so far. I really just want to hop in and see if I can game on Ubuntu just as fine. That, you guys, was my first look into Ubuntu that I installed myself on my machine. Super easy, very highly recommended for people that have never used Linux before or never had anything to do with distros. Stay tuned for the next video because we are going to be installing some more additional gaming things and some more additional programs, running a bunch of processes into Ubuntu just to see how it actually deals with everything surrounding these processes and also games. So if you guys would like to stay tuned for that, stay tuned, and also make sure to give me some love. Give me some comments, give me some shares, give me some likes down below, and let me know if you prefer seeing installations rather than just gaming videos. I'm happy to do just about anything that you guys are interested at. If you guys like this idea of installations plus gaming, please do let me know. It will definitely help me out a whole lot. And yeah, I'll see you in the future. Thank you for watching this video and have a wonderful day. Bye!